So energy, like in Spanish, energy comes from en in Greek and ergon in Greek. En meaning inside, ergon meaning work or strength, which comes from the Indo-European language werk, which is the origin of work. So the particle I or ia comes from the Greek eia, that means quality, the quality of something. So energy means the quality of doing a work or doing a strength or something. So as you see, energy means the work of a force, of a strength of something. So meaning the weight that something has, the charge that something has. So this is what we have been speaking a lot in all this path, which is the charge of something divides itself into negative and positive. So talking about positive and negative, we have here that this means that an object has two charges, a charge that is positive, a charge that is negative, and both of them are attracting each other. So they create, by attraction, this field that we call magnetism. These are the two charges of something, like for example, our planet. So like in Earth, for example, we have this sphere here, and the positive and the negative, we call the positive the North Pole and the negative the South Pole. This is not because of politics or because of kind of control in geography or something that things that I have heard. No, this is just because all the iron of the planet points towards the positive side of the magnetism, which is right now in the north. So that's why all is facing north. But if the magnetism starts to change towards another direction, all the compasses will point into that direction. So it's not about if the positive is the south or the north, and it's something much more political or philosophical. No, it's actual like this. It's not that the north is not much more powerful, it's just that the magnetism of the positive side of the magnetism is there. So now these two, positive or negative, they are making a strength. They are producing a force that makes them be what they are. So this force is the movement that they do in order to reach the other one. So they create this magnetism around. So this force is the one that we call energy. So the charges of energy that the negative and the positive has by itself is what we call potential energy. So why do we call them potential? Because potential comes from potere, that gives the word power. So this means that the potential energy is talking about the power that this aspect has by itself. We usually in this path of spirituality and inner growth, we use a lot the idea of an inner potential, that each person has a potential inside, that each person has something to give to the world, and even if it is in spirituality or in companies or in arts, we usually say we have an inner potential. It's talking about the power that you have inside, that maybe you're not using it, but you have it because it's natural in your structure. The potential energy is the one that you don't have to do anything to have it, because it's already within you. So we will have this potential energy in different ways that is within us, and we can experience that potential that is inevitable inside of us. And the other kind of energy is the one that we call kinetics energy. Kinetic. So the other one, the kinetic energy, comes from the word kine, that means movement, the movement of something. So this one here, potential, the energy of potential, is the one that you have within. And the kinetics energy is the one that is created by the movement outside. So we have only two universal ways of energy. The potential energy, which is the one, remember what it's energy, what energy means, that is a strength that you have inside, the quality of having that strength. So potential energy would be that strength that you have by nature inside. And the kinetics energy is the one that explains how that strength that you have inside, you are moving it into the outside. So basically, these are the two types of energy. One is within and the other one outside. So here on Earth, for example, we have two kinds of potential energy, which are gravitational energy, which is according to the weight, the mass that the planet has, the accumulation of matter. And on the other hand, the magnetism, magnetical energy, which is created by its poles, positive and negative. So for example, then in this same potential energy, what we have is the movement of the planet, because this inner potential of magnetism is the one that makes the Earth spin. When it starts to spin, it creates kinetic energy. And kinetic energy is the one that moves everything on the planet. So it creates new energy. And this energy is the one that then we can experience by electricity because of the charge of this movement in the ionosphere, in the stratosphere. They create this accumulation of energy that needs a discharge, which is kinetic, and we call electricity, like a lightning that needs a discharge in the ground. So remember, for example, in this structure, we have an atom here. We have an atom, and here we have a proton and a neutron, and around we have the electrons. So the potential energy that we have inside an atom is the one that makes the proton and the neutron to be connected as one. That's a really hard strength that is the potential of this atom. So by a reaction, what you can do is to divide both of them and release that potential energy from inside. So that's what the scientists, some of them, they do when they divide the atom. So they release the energy, and that's what we call the nuclear energy, which is atomic energy. This energy is in all of us, in each one of your atoms of your body, because basically it's the energy that holds the atoms together. So remember everything that we have spoken about this unity is only one being that has the potential of the entire universe. It's only one particle, only one thing that holds inside the potential of the entire existence. When this only thing decides to divide itself in two, all the potential from inside is released, the thing that we call the Big Bang, like an atomic bomb. And all this power that is released creates a new kind of energy called kinetics, kinetical energy. We can say here that the potential is statics, because the potential is inside, holding within, and is statics, that means to stay in one spot. And when it divides by two, the energy is released, the tension is released, creating movement, which is kinetics. So what we have here is that the potential that before was only in one, now this potential is divided in two. So the potential that was shared by both of them now is divided in this one and this one. And we call it the positive potential and the negative potential. And because they both are trying to find themselves, they create movement. So that's what we call kinetics. Now let's keep dividing them by others. So every time I divide them, I create more potentials that starts to move around. So these are chakras. Yes, chakras. And let's understand this. The human body doesn't have chakras within. The human body is made up with chakras. The human body doesn't have chakras within. The human body is a construction of chakras. So what is a chakra? Chakra in Sanskrit means wheel. So everything that moves like a wheel will be a chakra. So every atom in our body is a chakra. Each atom, each molecule, each chemical, each organ, a cell, and each organ is a chakra. So why are they all chakras? Because everything is created by a potential energy that is expressed in kinetics energy. So basically we are energy. We are constant energy. So the process is constant because of this law, the law of energy conservation. So the law of energy conservation can tell us that, for example, here we have ice, and then we have water, and then we have steam. So all of them regenerate once and again, and is always the same. The matter doesn't disappear. It won't disappear. It only changes its shapes. So for example, when you put fire on some woods and it turns into ashes, it's not that the wood disappeared, it's that it just transformed its energy. Now we have ashes, but also it transformed itself into fire, into carbon that is on the air. Now it transformed into heat. So it didn't disappear really. It's constant all the time. So because of this law, you can understand that anything in the planet left the planet. This means everything has been transformed. Everything that exists now is made up with all the things that once walked on Earth. Like It's not that there are new people appearing and being born in this planet, and because of this we have much more matter, or eventually we won't have space because a lot of people will have making the earth full with matter. No, the people that is born now is the same energy and matter that has been once. So it's constant, and that explains reincarnation. So when we talk about reincarnation, it's not that a soul has been outside of my body and was inside of another body. Actually, what happened is that my body has the same atoms that once has been inside of some other beings. This explains why sometimes we can remember the same past life, like if we were the same person, because maybe one arm of one person has become another person in another country, and maybe some leg, the atoms of some leg has gone into another country with another person. It's not about we humans live that, and what about others, animals or plants? No, it's everything, everything. This here, for example, this is plastic. Here is plastic. That plastic has been done because of trees. Trees, thousands of years ago, in the North Pole, in a region that today is the North Pole, created the main matter to make the plastic. And maybe that tree grew up because the seed of that tree was in the poo of a dinosaur that ate a plant. So now that dinosaur, that tree, that water has become a pen for me to explain the law of conservation. Energy is constant, is all the time. And every atom in the matter has a potential that is moving by kinetics. What is the energy then? What is energy? Energy is movement. In Latin, movement is animatus, which gives the name animal. Everything that is an animal is something that is moving, which gave the word anemic for the state of humor, anemic, which in Spanish gave the word alma, that means soul. Soul is energy. The description of what soul means is movement, the constant movement energy. When we say the soul is something that gives information that goes through one body to another body, that reincarnates, and we explain the beauty of the soul and so on, what we are actually talking about is about kinetics energy and potential energy. Actually, I feel like killing the magic in this, but I guess it's important for us to know that the reason why we in spirituality call the soul reincarnates in another body is because the vocabulary that we have in the spiritual world has been designed in times where we had not the tools to explain kinetics energy or the atomic energy. It's about vocabulary and traditions of different cultures that we ended up explaining this. So when we say soul, now it sounds very beautiful because it's something cultural that was very poetic when someone was trying to explain how energy worked. But actually, what we were trying to say is that something was animated, that it was the movement. You can basically write a thesis for university about an atom in science, or you can write a poem about an atom. And both would be right because there are two different ways to explain the same thing. So it's not that one is fine and the other one is bad. They are both okay. It's all about semantics and words. When we, for example, have this image, when many of these atoms starts to get together by resonance, they connect by resonance to one another, they start to create a network of potential that we call an organ or a chakra. Each one of these here is one chakra, is a chakra. Each dot is a chakra. But when some of them get together and create a big structure, we will have a greater chakra made up with all the potential of many potentials. So we have a greater chakra. Like, for example, today we have the throat chakra. So this is the throat chakra that has inner potential and also can express through words, through singing, in kinetics energy, manifesting something outside the words and changing realities through the word. So it's not that here we have a chakra within an organ. The organ is made by chakras. So all the chakras together create another chakra that we call organ. It's the atoms inside that has the energy of the chakra. So when I work with the chakra, I'm not working with something outside from the organ. I am working with the network of potential. And I have two ways to work this. So there are two ways to work with this network. In the potential of this network, the way to work with it is by meditation. And through kinetics is what we call activation. Meditation, activation. So the potential, which is inside of this structure, can only be found by meditation, which is to go to the middle, middle, to go in the middle, inside. So meditation is to observe the potential within. On the other hand, we have kinetics. Kinetics is movement. So that takes us to activation. And activation would be to activate that potential that I have within. And how? For example, if we are here in the throat chakra, would be to speak, to sing, to do something with your voice. Or can also be doing a ceremony, shamanism. It can be just painting like I'm doing now. It can be doing whatever you feel it could activate your inner potential. Okay? So when we are working with energy, we usually say, I give energy. And even if we are a battery, because naturally we are a battery that can create a lot of energy constantly, it doesn't mean that you can do it all the time. It means that you are a battery, but you need to recharge the battery. Otherwise, you are low in energy. And this means that, for example, the people that is enlightened, they can recharge constantly their own energy and it's eternal. But the people that we are still dealing with stuff and having troubles and working on ourselves, we have some kind of problems still to create that. So that's why we need to eat, we need to drink, we need to sleep, we need to laugh, because we need to recharge our energy. So unless you are enlightened, you will need to recharge your energy by eating and sharing and so on. So for those who work with the energy, remember, we are like a battery, so we have positive and negative. So our feet, our hands, and our eyes are a way in which we can move energy from inside to the outside. We are electricity. So we have in the right hand the positive and left hand the negative. So we can use these sides to both sides to recharge something with our energy, and mostly the hands because they are grown from the heart chakra, which is the one that expands the most. So that's why from the heart you can expand the arms towards the hand, and that's why it's better to do it with your hands. The way in which I can do it properly and better to give energy to others with my hands is downloading information from the photons. The photons are everywhere, which is the light of the sun. That's the kinetic energy of the sun that is constantly there and eternal. So even if it is night, there are photons everywhere because you can walk around and you can just take a look and you will see things even if it is dark. So that's because photons are everywhere all the time. So you can just breathe those photons through the head, breathing through the head, and they go to your heart. And from your heart, you expand that with your hands to what you are trying to heal or help. So that's the way in which you can do it without wasting your own energy. You take the energy from the environment and you go through the heart in order to recharge it. But also remember this, it's not good to have too much energy. So remember to download the rest of the energy through your feet to the earth, like if you are aligning. And I say it's not good to have a lot of energy. It's not good to have a lot of energy, the same way as it's not good to charge your phone so many hours together because the battery can die. Okay, so a lot of energy is also no good for your body. That was for the people that work with energy. But people that doesn't work with energy, but they feel like people is sucking the energy like vampires around because maybe you are weak and you don't know how to work with your energy. I won't recommend you to close your pattern of energy to take protection, because that would close to you to be open to new things or new links that maybe you need. So I would recommend you to do exactly the same. Take the energy from the environment, from the photons of the sun. They go down and you expand it. Like imagine like if you bright like a sun. So the vampires, the parasites, they will get that energy too, but it's not yours. It's the energy of the sun. So you're recharging yourself, and also you are giving energy to those who need. So practice that.